tonight feels like a real act of liberation, which sounds strange because of the show it is. I think that what we can do is use this show as a step forward in our empathy to kind of everything that's going on in the world. We can't solve it through theatre, but if we can provide a space for people to be able to think about what's going on in the world at the moment, and it just feels great to finally kind of get it out there.
During the pandemic, we listened to lots of plays, lots of big canonical plays, and it just felt like it was a play that we needed at that moment, just being invited to imagine. And I think we're examining our leadership right now, and we're examining our relationship with Europe. But obviously, in the last 5 days, the play has become even more chillingly resonant. So, unfortunately, the play proves to be timely again for other reasons.
I've always loved Henry V, so I loved the Branagh film when I was a kid and felt really patriotic about it. But I've gone on a big journey with my politics since I was 11, and now I think it's a much more complicated story of England invading another country, which I'd now call an act of aggression or imperialism or colonialism. And so I suppose half of the production is a love letter to the play that I loved as a kid, and the other half of the production is an attempt to critique what English nationalism and expansionism has always been and still sadly presently is.
Our director from the beginning had a really clear idea that this play has always been done historically as sort of a piece about patriotism and nationalism and one great nation invading another, and by translating all of the French scenes into French you end up with a far more balanced narrative. You give that other court as much power and agency as the English court have, and so it's two nations, very topical, two nations confronting each other. And I think personally, Olivier, who I shared all my scenes with, we were talking about what a joy it is to use your other language at work. I grew up bilingual, but I never use it when I'm acting. So it's been really, selfishly very enjoyable to get to speak both.
When I came to thinking about this play and went and revisited it, it was, he wasn't the person that I remembered he was. He wasn't necessarily heroic, he wasn't doing it for the good of other things, and that made me excited. So I was like, there's a chance to play a different Henry here, there's a chance to tell a different story behind this character. Shakespeare allows us that interpretation.
It's been incredible to be back in a rehearsal room with actors and working on such a dense play psychologically together, and it's great that Donmar you get such a lot of rehearsal time, and it's just been thrilling to be in a room again. I've really missed that.
For me personally, I don't like going more than 3 years if I can, if I've got the choice, not being on stage, so this was about the right time. But to be here was the more special thing. It's always been a theatre that I've wanted to work at, and playing a part that I've always wanted to do, so I feel very, very grateful tonight.
I think in a more traditional production of Henry V, the chorus looks and sounds like an older version of Henry, but I have felt increasingly that the most interesting perspectives on British history are being told by a younger generation and are challenging the historical norms that we're getting. And so I felt I wanted our chorus to be someone who brought a fresh perspective, an anti-colonial perspective, a modern perspective on a traditional British history, and so that the chorus and Henry could stand at different angles to the same story.
I am a complete heathen, and I didn't know the play before getting this part, and so I came at it from a very sort of 2022 attitude. So it seemed quite natural to me, and it's only that we were putting a lot more agency into Katherine, the female character, and then it's only as we got through the rehearsals and I started talking to other people that I discovered that she wasn't historically played like that. But yeah, I think any place you can find for female rage is a good thing.
In that moment where he kisses her, that to me seemed consensual in the text, and that was again a red flag for me about who he was at that stage of the play. I think that for me, I kind of in many ways feel sorry for him at that stage, because I think war has twisted his mind to a certain extent. But there's no doubt in my head that in that moment in the play he is harassing at the least.